Okay. All right. My name is Marianne Maxwell. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Academics.
And I'm Yvette Cardenas, and I am the Director of Elementary Multilingual Education.
Thank you. All right. For this recording, we are presenting on the District Scorecard Constraint 3 regarding historically marginalized groups, which states that the superintendent shall not allow practices that lead to academic disparities within specific student populations of African American students, emergent bilingual students, and students receiving special education services. Specifically, this presentation involves Constraint Progress Measure 3.2, which tracks the number of campuses or dual language programs that are scoring on track in the language of instruction domain of our locally developed dual language data collection tool during walkthroughs. This school year is a baseline year, so we are collecting data in the 24-25 school year to set as a baseline to use for future setting yearly targets through the 28-29 school year. This constraint is most closely associated to our draft district initiative for early learning, which we will talk about in more detail throughout this report. A few key points on the background of this constraint measure and the work around it are that Austin ISD has a clear commitment to offering bilingual education. There has been collaborative work to invest in the quality and sustainability of our dual language program. And there is a desire to track the effectiveness of dual language implementation and whether we are reaching the goals of bilingualism, biliteracy, and multicultural competence. In an effort to measure progress, the district developed the elementary dual language data collection tool to observe dual language classroom environments and support dual language instruction. This tool was partially implemented in 2023, which indicated a need for training to understand the elements. So in the 23-24 school year, and again in the 24-25 school year, the multilingual education team, referred to as the MET, facilitated professional learning to support the walkthrough tools usage. The professional learning initiated the understanding of the elements on the tool, and beginning this school year, allowed the district to focus more closely on a few key elements and what those look like during classroom implementation. This school year, campus administrators conducted those walkthroughs in the fall, and then the MET specialist conducted walkthroughs in the same classrooms during the spring. This constraint measure focuses specifically on one element of the dual language data collection tool, which is the language of instruction, as a critical component of developing academic language in both the target and the partner languages. This constraint progress measure is integrated into the Foundations First Early Childhood Draft District Initiative. Although many key indicators of this plan focus on pre-K through second grade outcomes, we know that this work sets our students up for success in all grade levels. In the bilingual setting, implementing robust literacy and numeracy instruction with high quality materials and clear cross-linguistic curriculum and practices ensures the development of languages directly supporting the goal of bilingualism and biliteracy for students. Some of the key data findings of this report are that the baseline data indicates that the language of instruction is at a developing level district-wide. This table shows more specifically the number of programs and the percentage of programs scoring at each level. Please note that although the progress measure itself denotes the number of campuses, we felt it was really important to distinguish number of programs, given that Jocelyn and Riley Elementaries have both a Mandarin and Spanish dual language program, and we wanted the data to reflect both of those programs. And now I'll hand it over to Mrs. Cardenas to speak in more detail about the data.
Thank you, Dr. Maxwell. So as you mentioned, when we look at the data analysis table, we see that the 2024-25 baseline data reveals that the dual language element of language of instruction is at a 2.0, which is developing level district-wide. Please take a look at Appendix 1 for campus level data. This indicates that some, but not all, indicators of language of instruction are in place at most campuses. Please see Appendix 3 for a detailed table regarding the elements observed and in place at each campus. After averaging the fall 2024 and spring 2025 scores, the number and percentage of elementary dual language programs scoring at each level are: at the emerging level, 3 campuses, which represent 5% of the elementary dual language programs. At the developing level, 49 campuses, which represent 83.1% of the elementary dual language programs. And on track, 7 campuses, which is 11.9% of the elementary dual language program. Discrepancies exist between scores observed by campus administrators in the fall of 2024 and the scores observed by members of the multilingual education team in the spring of 2025, with campus administrators trending higher in their scoring than multilingual education members. For a comparison of scoring, please see the data collection table in Appendix 2. So let's look at the root cause. There is a need for campus administrators and teachers to continue to strengthen their understanding of the district's dual language model, including the program goals of bilingualism, biliteracy, academic achievement, and cross-cultural proficiency, as well as the district's language and content allocation plan that is aimed at developing language within content. Campus administrators and teachers continue to strengthen their understanding and implementation of the elementary dual language data collection tool. However, the variances that exist between the fall dual language walkthroughs conducted by campus administrators and the spring dual language walkthroughs conducted by multilingual education indicate that calibration on walkthrough content is needed. The district has noted a similar pattern in early learning walkthroughs in which campus observation scores trend high. Staffing shortages in bilingual education classrooms continue to affect the consistency and quality of dual language instruction, with Austin ISD experiencing an increasing number of bilingual exceptions being filed for the last several years that allow permission for bilingual education classrooms to be staffed with non-bilingual certified teachers. As mentioned in Appendix 4, the root cause indicates a continued need for deepening understanding and consistent implementation of the district's dual language model, including program goals, the content and allocation plan, and the elementary dual language data collection tool. So let's look at some outliers. Although most campuses are in the developing stage of adhering to language of instruction, there are several campuses that are already on track. So we want to celebrate those campuses that are already on track for language of instruction, which are in Band 1, Gold Valley Elementary, in Band 2, Guerrero Thompson and Palm, and in Band 3, Doss, Jocelyn, Riley, and Summit. Yay for them. There are 3 distinct indicators within the dual language element of language of instruction. 1, teacher maintains language of instruction according to schedule. 2, teacher utilizes visual marker to identify the language of instruction. And 3, each language is represented in print within its content and each is marked by its respective color. These 7 campuses mentioned who were on track had more than 50% of teachers demonstrating all 3 indicators as seen in Appendix 3, Language of Instruction by Criteria. Overall, during observations, several characteristics were noted for the on-track campuses. For instance, teachers at Gold Valley Elementary consistently use a language marker such as a clothespin in red or blue, beaded necklaces in red and blue, and a lamp that turns red when plugged in. At Palm Elementary, student work is displayed in both languages, which reflects the language of instruction. Additionally, students use their journals to write in both languages. At Doss Elementary, a teacher maintains language of instruction as she instructs students to use choral responses in unison. At Jocelyn Elementary, a teacher maintains the language of instruction according to the schedule in Mandarin without translation. Both Mandarin and English are represented in the content area. Campuses on track for language of instruction indicate that campus leaders and teachers have a stronger understanding of the elements that support dual language implementation. In Appendix 4, please note that the focus of this CPM 3.2 is the element of language of instruction, which highlights the significance of maintaining the language of instruction aligned to the district's dual language model and language allocation plan. The language of instruction plays an essential role in developing academic language proficiency in both the target and partner languages, as highlighted by research points referenced in Appendix 5. For example, La Forêt et al. In 2023 emphasizes in the NABID Journal of Research and Practice that adherence to the language of instruction is a key aspect of delivering DLE programs with fidelity. They further reference Mora et al. In 2001, underscoring that for DLE programs, the heart of fidelity lies in the need for congruence between a DLE program's theoretical model for dual language instruction and actual classroom practice, including teachers' actual language use in the classroom. Finally, in Appendix 7, you can find the links to the Dual Language Elements Data Collection Tool walkthrough rubrics, as well as the Austin ISD Elementary Language and Content Allocation Plans. Dr. Maxwell, back to you.
Thank you. Okay, going back to the district initiative and the progress of the work. Good work has been done this school year, 24-25, to support dual language quality of instruction. We started with foundational pieces, such as ensuring that all of our dual language teachers have the materials they need in both languages and the guiding curriculum documents to support their usage in Tier 1 and throughout interventions in Tier 2 and Tier 3. We made a significant investment in these resources and made sure that materials aligned to our content and language allocation plan, but also provided interventions in both Spanish and English to support strong foundations in both languages as appropriate for each student. We continued also with professional learning. There have been multiple sessions with professional learning to address these materials and guiding documents, usage of the dual language data collection tool and its elements, and cross-training of district teams and content-based language instruction to ensure all members support the development of academic language in dual language settings. And to address staffing shortages and quality, the MET has provided multiple learning sessions for bilingual certification content for teachers and has been partnering to design and implement a robust 4-day bilingual academy focused on preparing teachers for bilingual certifications. Looking forward, we will continue these practices with increased frequency of professional learning sessions with principals and assistant principals to calibrate on the dual language data collection tool and its elements. We're partnering with school leadership on planning the frequency of those professional learning sessions next year, and our Department of Talent Strategy that also helps schedule and discuss frequency of these professional learning sessions to ensure that we have ongoing and regular sessions with campus administrators. This effort is not only to improve calibration scores, but to equip dual language administrators with the ability to coach and give feedback on their campuses to improve the elements of the dual language as they are implemented. The MET will also continue to collaborate with Talent Strategy and across departments regarding the implementation of the plan to address staff shortages and bilingual exceptions. So that will be continuing work with an increased focus. And there will also be some new efforts, which will include professional learning focused on content-based language instruction for campus administrators and instructional coaches. This comes from the cross-training of our teams across MET and STEM and humanities in content-based language instruction to ensure that we're starting those professional learning sessions and we're able to implement and see that as part of dual language elements in the classroom. We also will have a district-wide focus on detailed classroom schedules that denote specific instructional blocks and targeted language of instruction. And we'll have the inaugural cohort of the Bilingual Academy to support teachers with bilingual certification. So our key progress indicators here are ways that we will demonstrate tracking progress of our work toward our goals. And they range from tracking inventory of materials to ensure their continued sustainable provision, ongoing evaluation of district provided curriculum and its quality of multilingual supports, tracked delivery and participation in dual language focused professional learning, and whether our staffing efforts are resulting in a reduction in the number of bilingual exceptions and an increase in bilingual certification rates. So this concludes our presentation on Constraint Progress Measure 3.2. Thank you so much for watching our recording, and we look forward to questions and discussion at the board meeting on the evening of May 8th.